and a very warm welcome to episode 2 of Cultural Communication Confidence with me, Victoria Reynoldson. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about why does culture matter for your business and career? And we're going to really start exploring the idea of cultural intelligence and the real impact this can have to your performance and your results. So let me start by asking some questions. Perhaps you've been in a team meeting or perhaps in a meeting with customers or other people externally. And you've had the experience that you have sat there and you have seen people, the way they're acting or some of the ways that they're saying things, and thought to yourself, wow, they're being really rude. Or actually, these people are so difficult to work with. Perhaps even you've had the thought come into your head that these people are so unprofessional. Like, how can they get anything done? Maybe this has happened to you. It might be that these are people you're working with who are from different cultures, maybe people who are in different countries from yourself, and you're working virtually in this way. What did you do after the meeting? Did you try and do anything in the meeting itself? Or did you just come out of the meeting and maybe complain to colleagues or your manager? Or even just laugh it off as they're just being difficult. They are difficult to work with. Well, I want to talk about culture today because I think this has a very big impact in how we interact with others. Yes, we live in a very globalized world, and clearly at a touch of a button, we can communicate and connect with others all over the world. And I'm sure that many of you are part of large global teams working with people based in different countries. But the reality is that the culture we spend most time in, or perhaps we were born in, has a great influence on who we are. It shapes how we see the world and how we do things. So it shapes our attitudes, our core values and our beliefs, how we do things, how we say things, and what we think is professional or not professional. The way to think about it is almost like you're wearing a pair of glasses. And if you imagine these cultural glasses, that's really kind of how you see things. So it colours the way that you see the world, how things are done, and therefore that's how you're decoding and interpreting what's happening. But let's imagine you don't realise you're wearing these glasses. What that means is that you kind of are assuming that the way that the things you're seeing and experiencing are exactly how you would do them. And the reality is that's not necessarily the case. We often don't really understand the glasses that the other people are wearing and what is considered normal for them. So how do we become more culturally intelligent? How do we realise that we're wearing these cultural glasses? And what do we do about that? Well, listen, I know that is a huge topic, and we will be going into this in a number of different subtopics over a number of episodes, but I'm going to give you a brief introduction to that now. At the simplest level, it starts with our awareness. We have to know that we're wearing these glasses in the first place. Once we know we're wearing those glasses, then we realise we have a choice. We don't just have to react to what's going on because we're perhaps misunderstanding the intention. We can choose to interact. We can choose to explore what are the motivations and drivers of this other person or this other group of people. What is really potentially going on here? Or what are alternative interpretations for what is happening? And I think that's quite important because if we can explore that, then again, we have choices. We have choices about sticking to doing the things the way we do them, but perhaps explaining our approach and explaining to the other group why we're doing things the way we are. Or we have an alternative strategy, which is to adapt what we do. And that can be really powerful too. We can adapt ourselves to really the cultural dynamics that are going to work for the other person or for the other group. As long as it's in line still with our values, then that does make sense as well. And what you'll notice is if we take this culturally intelligent approach to our interactions, then we can start to have more traction. We start to connect better with people, we have build up better relationships, and we have less frustrations, less wasted time and miscommunications, which ultimately delay projects and have really tangible detrimental effects to our work and performance. So as we come to the end of this episode, I would love to know whether you've had this experience. Have you yourself ever felt that frustration or felt like you were wasting time when working in a multicultural team because of the miscommunications and the misunderstandings that were going on? Have you yourself noticed that other groups have different approaches when it comes to what is considered the right way of doing things in business? I would love to know about your experiences, and so please do feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn and tell me, what have you noticed? What has happened to you? And perhaps has anything you've tried out worked in terms of bridging over that cultural gap? If you want to find me on LinkedIn, my personal profile is Victoria Reynoldson, and my surname is spelled Renoldson. If you or your team are also experiencing these challenges of cultural communication and cultural gaps, then I would love to talk to you, because we have two ways that I could work with you. One is that I can work with you as an individual in individual coaching programs so that we can really understand what's happening in your specific situations. Alternatively, if you're a team that's experiencing internally some cultural challenges, or perhaps externally working with others who are your partners or your customers, then let's have a chat and I can share with you my team workshop approach to cultural success. So there we go. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. And as ever, I would absolutely love it if you've today enjoyed this episode and felt that you've got great value from it, then please feel free to subscribe to the show to make sure that you don't miss out on knowing every time the show goes live. I would also love it if you could rate and review. If this is an episode that has been helpful for you, it really is great for me if you could give me that feedback. Thank you so much for joining me today on Cultural Communication Confidence. I'm Victoria Reynoldson, and I look forward to seeing you next time.